Welcome to the Sailor Noob podcast, where a superfan and a noob talk about the original Sailor Moon episode by episode. I'm your host, Mikan Hana, joined by my co-host.
I'm the co-host, Caliban, and the noob. It's a Monaco is Sailor Moon Jam!
Yeah! And we're a couple of magical people ready to moon cosmic power make up this episode.
It's finally complete. The takeover.
Your dreams.
Oh, my dreams. No, I don't. It's like a single, a blonde female, where Monaco just moves in, and then she's like, "Oh, Usagi, I didn't expect you here." Monaco? You're wearing your hair different.
Oh no!
Oh, Mama-chan.
Oh my god, no! Don't say that. That's gonna creep me out.
That seems like what's going on.
Today we are talking about episode number 102. Ubawareta Pioa no Kokoro. Usagi Zettai Zetsume in Japanese. The Stolen Pure Heart, Usagi's Crisis. The English translation, and the English title, Birthday Blues Part 2.
But yeah, single white female, I don't know, I wouldn't recommend it. It's okay. It came out in 1992, and it is famous for a climactic email sending scene.
Oh, God.
Because remember, people who are
I'm sorry,
old
I just
heads will
rolled my
remember
eyes.
all the ways that they tried to make the internet apply to people's dramas, like in films in the 90s. And so
you got mail.
There's a thing where, that the whole thing is also, that's based on a play from the 1940s.
Yeah.
From Hungary.
Okay.
So probably a bad example, but the point is that she's like trapped in a thing, and she doesn't want to, instead of just, fighting the person who's got her trapped or just leaving, for some reason she has to send an email, and it's just, there is no, "You got mail." Like, it's just a terminal screen, it's very basic.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay. That sounds not great. If I'm going to be honest. When I think of...
It's got the guy from Wings in it. Okay. But anyway, I can't talk too much, so we got to get right to it today.
All right.
Because the doctor was looking at my throat earlier and gave me some stuff, and so it's really shot my voice, and so I'm still here. I'm still doing it.
You are.
I'm still doing it.
You are,
but
just...
Yeah, I don't need your praise. All right. But
jeez, way to shut somebody down.
It's oh wow. You take the praise or you take the abuse, and I guess I'm taking the abuse. But it's frustrating because for another podcast that I have, my Star Trek podcast, I got the chance to talk to a very high-profile guest, an interview that I was really lucky to be able to set up. And the whole time I'm like, "So tell me about what you do."
Oh my God, yeah. I'm so sorry.
Do you think that Captain Picard would actually have to?
And usually your voice is so booming, so that must be really frustrating. So,
do I accept the compliment? Is it a compliment?
It is a compliment.
Do I want the abuse? I can't even tell. But I'm going to soldier on. You know why I'm going to soldier on? Well, I'll tell you why I'm doing it. For people like Robin, our newest inner senshi.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Robin gave us $5, or I should say £4.50.
Okay.
£4.50. Take the gherkin out of the inside. Right? You know that one?
I do. I just don't. Obviously not very well, because I'm feeling embarrassed. But yes, that sounds very familiar.
Welcome to the team, or the squad.
Yes.
As we say around these parts. They're
we
going to be a
should have
senshi
squad t-shirts. That'd be good.
All right. We'll think about it.
Okay.
We'll think about it.
Okay.
That'll go on the poll that I'm constructing.
Okay.
For the patrons. I guess I'm interested in non-patrons' opinions as well, for some of our merch ideas. Because you start thinking about merch.
Yeah.
You go so far up your own Kiro Miro that you don't even know if it's... is this good? I don't even know.
I don't. Am I looking at my own hand? What's going on?
Clock ticking on my voice. So I'll just say thank you again to Robin. And for the price of a Big Mac milkshake and some large fries, you too can join our Patreon at patreon.com/Sailor Noob.
All right, while we still have Cal's voice with us, Cal, could you give us a breakdown of what happens in this episode?
Yeah, my voice has a hard out in about 45 minutes. So we begin where we left off last episode in the parking garage of this building, where Usagi can only watch tearfully as Kaorinite and her demon have trapped Tuxedo Mask in glass. But just then, the sailor senshi arrive, and Kaorinite and Cenicienta leave.
Yes.
And as they fade away, Kaori says, Usagi, Sakino, and the Sailor Guardians, if you want to save Tuxedo Mask, come to Tokyo Tower. That's where you'll die.
Yeah.
Bad slogan for a tourist attraction.
It is.
And they disappear, and Usagi is distraught, but in her grief, she sees Neptune and Uranus running out of this garage. And the sailor soldiers see this as well, and Venus remarks, they're like hyenas. They have to laugh to be like a hyena. They're like jackals.
Yeah,
Maybe
okay.
Maybe it doesn't translate, but yeah. But they are taking off. And Usagi, however, immediately gets up and runs after them. Mercury tells her to wait. It's a trap. And also you can't transform. And we need to come up with a plan.
Yeah, all good points.
And Usagi counters that Mamo's life is on the line and she has to save him. And she runs off. And as she hits the street, Haruka and Michiru pull up in a sports car. Oh, weird.
It's weird seeing you here.
Yeah. Oh, you just missed Uranus and Neptune.
It's so strange.
She asks them for a lift, and they take off as the sailor soldiers can only watch them go. And about Haruka's car, I was trying to figure it out. It doesn't look like exactly like the car that she was driving last time when she was driving the car.
Yeah.
Driving Mako around. Not exactly the same. But the license plate says 2000, so I'm guessing that this is supposed to be the GT2000.
Oh,
And just maybe
that makes sense.
Maybe the in-betweener or the guy that was just drawing it this time like wasn't as big a car fan as the last time. Or they weren't using the right plates or something. I don't know. Anyway,
I don't know.
as they speed down the highway towards their destination, and what did she tell them? Like, oh yeah, well I just really want to check out Tokyo Tower at 11:30 p.m.
I have no idea.
Michiru asks Usagi, "Did you make up with your boyfriend?" And Usagi just says, "Yeah." And Michiru looks guilty. And she should be.
Yeah.
I should mention here that there is a great song playing in the background as they drive to the tower. I think it's I Know Senshi.
Yes.
Which appeared in the Battle of the 10 Warriors, episode 68. And it's performed by Yoko Ishida. And it's got this like real like great city pop style.
I love this
really
song
love it.
so much.
It really is just undercuts the rank betrayal that is happening here.
It pisses me off.
It's like they're driving a meat wagon. You know, they've got like the lamb in the back that's going to the butcher. Out of nowhere, Haruka says, Bunhead, people always sacrifice others to survive, right? And Usagi, understandably, says, what are you talking about?
I know.
And Michiru says, you know, like if somebody liked you, you know, less than a friend, and they wanted to sacrifice your heart, you know, that person might trample on anything to achieve their goal. And Usagi should say, you can just let me out right here in the middle of the interstate.
Yeah, right.
But she says nothing. But Usagi remembers some of her encounters with Neptune and Uranus, and they're similar heartless words. And it's great because they're just on the road, but at this point they're going through like a tunnel, an underground tunnel.
Yeah. And
the light changes and it accentuates this moment. And we don't know exactly what's going on. We don't know if she has what Clark Kent is Superman. Like she doesn't know if it's that or if she's being presented with a moral event horizon and she's like refusing to cross it.
Well, because
she's a hero.
When she met with Uranus last time and Uranus asked her, like, what would you do if you had, you know, if you could save the world, she just kind of just stared at her dumbfounded, but she reacts differently when presented with a similar question.
Right now, she says, the people doing the trampling might be fine with that, but what about the people being trampled on? Is it all right to ignore the people being sacrificed? I can't let others suffer just so that I can be saved. If we can work together, we could find a way to handle things without casualties. And Michiru just looks at her with this really sad look on her face, like, you sweet Natsu child.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
At the tower, Usagi thanks them for the ride and heads into the building at the base of the tower. Michiru says, are you sure about this, Haruka? She's going to die. And Haruka says, it can't be helped. To save the world from silence, we have to sacrifice Bunhead. The Bunhead in question makes it inside. It's open still, I guess.
Yes.
Or is it? Because as she does, she's immediately locked in by the shutters. The shutters go down over the doors. The voice of Kaorinite comes over the PA saying, "Get in the elevator. I'll send you straight to heaven."
Aw, thanks.
Usagi rides up while outside the senshi and the cats are trying to get in. Rei senses that there is a powerful barrier keeping the doors in place, which is convenient. It's called electricity. But apparently they can use the stairs. So they do that. So they end up they did a Ghostbusters after all.
They did.
They have to go up the stairs.
They did. But I also love how, like, right before Rei senses it, like, Jupiter was going to do her signature move, like, no doors, doors locked, let's break it open.
Which was the Star Tower move.
Yes.
But this time Ray's like, there's the thing, we can't do it.
Yeah.
So it's like, dun, burr, 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 burr. What floor is this? I think it's 20, 21.
Yeah, we don't see that part. The breathless part.
Yeah. Before they leave, though, Luna says, "Venus, wait. This all depends on you." Usagi arrives atop the tower, where Kaorinite and Cenicienta wait with the frozen Tuxedo Mask, now available in your grocer's freezer. Kaorinite says, "Hold it right there, or I smash the dandy." Usagi says, "I don't care what happens to me, but leave him alone." And Kaori says, "Okay." Cenicienta? And the demon once again flexes her arm and fires a star beam into Usagi's heart, retrieving her heart crystal. But before the demon can claim it, Uranus and Neptune appear in a puff of rose petals.
Yep.
Uranus examines the crystal and says, I guess it's not a talisman after all. It's just really pure.
Yeah.
This is really pure, man. Well, I could have told you that she was a pure person. I mean,
I
come on.
know.
Everybody seems really surprised by this. Uranus returns the crystal to Usagi, who awakens to see that Uranus and Neptune have saved her.
Yeah.
After leading her to her death.
I know.
Kaori says, "Well, I'm going to kill you anyway." Sailor Moon.
Yeah.
Uranus and Neptune are like, "What?" But everybody is like, "What?" to hear, da, "She's not Sailor Moon. Not only do you chase after an innocent girl's pure heart, but you mistake her for me? Skiri kawate oshiokyo."
Yes.
And an early eye catch. This eye catch comes like 9-10 minutes into the episode because we've got to backload a lot of this stuff.
Yeah, and we got to leave you hanging between the cuts. Yeah.
Yep. We come back to see that the Sailor Senshi have arrived, and leading them is an orange-bowed, orange-chokered Sailor Moon.
Yeah.
I wonder what's going on.
I know.
Usagi is like, "Minako-chan?" Kaorinite can tell something is off, but Sailor Moon, here are the quotes, says, "What, you got a problem with my perfect disguise? Come on!" And the other Senshi jump in front of her. They're like, no, it's just really Sailor Moon.
Yes.
And Cenicienta, who's the number one employee, is thinking, well, then who's this girl? And Sailor Moon says, "No clue. Maybe she's one of my fans." And Ray's like, "Yeah, she's too much of a klutz and a crybaby to be a Sailor Guardian." And Usagi's like, you guys got it. That's good. That's enough. Neptune and Uranus are like, "All right, well, anyway, we're going to go."
Yeah.
But Kaorinite doesn't think so. She goes carry on them, and the windows in the tower explode, raining glass on everybody and tearing the roof off this mother. Woo! Kaori says, "I'm going to take my time with you." But Neptune and Uranus are like, "Sure." And they just jump up through the roof. So next time, glass explosion, yes. Big escape hole in the roof, no.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Learn from your mistakes.
Kaori throws Usagi's heart locket down in disgust and says, "Cenicienta, do with them what you like." She takes off. And I think Cenicienta says, "Hi, Cienta," which is just, that's the best.
Yeah.
Point just for that. Higher up the tower, Kaorinite crosses metaphorical swords with Uranus and Neptune, and they stand and fight. Down below, Cenicienta turns her hand into a non-metaphorical sword and breathes crystal shards at the sailors as they scatter out of the way. Venus gives us a classic sailor kick and knocks the demon down, breaking her sword arm, and Cenicienta starts to freak out.
Yes.
She digs in her pocket and pulls out a warranty card. She's
I love it.
"Oh, thank God I'm covered."
It's so great.
So I guess the shoes are impractical, but they are replaceable.
Yeah, there you go.
Venus uses special attack, "Love Me Moon Chain," and whips at the demon to Usagi's proprietary dismay. Luna brings Usagi her brooch and says, "Transform already." She does. Cenicienta, who is way above her pay grade at this point, says, "What? You were Sailor Moon the whole time?"
I know.
This poor girl. And Usagi says, "That's right. The real deal is the best. I'm the trendy, beautiful, and cool guardian in a sailor suit, Sailor Moon. Skinny kawate oshiokyo. Moon spiral heart attack, and Cenicienta screams, "You liar!" and is leveled back into an impractical shoe.
Yes.
The crystal holding Tuxedo Mask crumbles, and he is free as Usagi runs to embrace him. Atop the tower, Kaorinite senses that her demon has been defeated. But there's not much time to think about that before World Shaking screams at her from Uranus's hand. Kaori leaps away from the blast and meets Uranus in the air, and as Uranus lands, she clutches her arm. She's like, she's really strong. Mm-hmm. Kaorinite says, I think to herself, like, hurry up and get here, Sailor Guardians. Mm-hmm. And then she activates something on her bracelet, and a series of explosions rock the tower. Sailor Moon says, we have to get up there and help them. But the senshi seem to think that they deserve whatever happens to them.
Uh-huh.
And Usagi says, they saved me. They're not bad people. Jury's out for me on that, though.
Oh, no.
Venus says, let's go. But Usagi says, first, I think you need to change. Mm-hmm. One of us is going home.
Yeah.
That's all I can say. Up the tower, Kaorinite is just owning the battlefield with her extend-a-hair.
Yeah.
But from a yet higher girder, she hears, I won't let you blow up this tower that delivers fun TV shows to living rooms across the country. In the name of the viewers, we'll punish you.
It's so great.
This would be a great chance for Kaorinite to say something like, you're getting canceled.
Oh, that would have been awesome.
I don't even own a TV.
Or your reruns.
Yeah, but not living up to her potential has been her whole character arc, so why stop now?
Oh.
Instead, she says, now I have you all where I want you, and raising the other glass slipper. You see, here's another, the thing about shoes, they come in pairs.
Oh, that would have been good.
You know who else comes in pairs?
Who?
You ever see, Call Me By Your Name?
Jeez. Wow.
Raising...
Oh my gosh.
Love my way.
Oh my god.
Raising the other glass slipper, she produces a vial of demon's culture. Don't ask where she got it. Which she pours into the shoe and says, with this, the powers of Cenicienta will be mine. She doesn't get huge guns, unfortunately, but her shoe becomes a sword, which she sweeps at our heroes, sending a cloud of crystals flying at them. I'll have 7 statues of the Sailor Guardians, she says. Mm-hmm. Uranus, she's hurt pretty bad. Mm-hmm. Sailor Moon says, we'll take care of this. Kaorinite uses her sword to freeze the girders of the tower, shattering them and sending them falling onto the Sailor Scouts, who dodge out of the way. They tell Uranus and Neptune to get out of here. Uranus says, well, they want to sacrifice themselves. I guess we should take them up on it. And they leave. Mm-hmm. Kaorinite says, are you ready to die? And she conjures a green energy field that, we don't know, presumably it traps the sailors atop the tower. They can't get away.
Right.
They are not ready to give up, as Mars and Jupiter throw burning mandala and supreme thunder at her.
Yes.
But she shrugs off their attacks. And there's like a different animation. I think it's the movie animation for the Supreme Thunder, which I haven't seen in a while. Yeah. The sailors get ready to scatter, but Mercury says, we have to stick together. Let's use Sailor Planet Attack. But the problem is they won't have enough time to charge it before she strangles them all with her hair.
Right.
Kaorinite prepares to freeze the sailor soldiers for good, but a red rose flies unerringly and knocks the sword from her hand. Tuxedo Mask has been standing here the whole time.
He has.
He was just getting the crystals out of his lungs.
That's right.
Yeah, crystal lung pop. He says, I'll take you on. After all this, even the show at this point is like, we've done enough.
Yeah.
We could have had him stand on the very point of the antenna of the tower.
Could have.
And then say, fun TV shows are things that children like to watch, but you will watch your dreams at conquest shatter in your hands. But nothing like that.
No, I think, like you said, his lungs are thawing still, and he doesn't have a big speech in him.
Yeah.
So
anyway, he makes his cane big, and they have a sword fight. Not what you think. As they do, the sailors charge their cosmic power as Uranus and Neptune look on from behind them. They're like still hanging around. Mm-hmm. Just as Kaorinite begins to overpower Tuxedo Mask, the sailors release their planet attack and blast Kaorinite, who gets back up.
Yeah.
Smiling.
Yeah.
Uranus remembers Usagi's words in her backseat, not what you think, about how the people being trampled on are worth just as much as the ones doing the trampling. As Kaorinite readies the death blow, world shaking flies once again. Through the cloud of crystals, Kaorinite fires, striking her and sending the crystals back into her, freezing her solid and the girders above her, which crash down on the catwalk and send her plummeting to her destruction. R.I.P. to a red one.
Yes.
The conflict over the Sailor Senshi look around for Uranus and Neptune, but they have fled. But not too far. Just a few flights down, we see them as Neptune says to Uranus, "You're pretty fickle, aren't you?" We've been doing this a lot, going back and forth.
Yeah.
And Uranus says, don't tease me about it. You know, Sailor Moon kind of looked like Bunhead. Okay, show. Okay, we can't start poking at that balloon now.
I know.
Later at Hikawa Shrine, Mamoru and Usagi sit outside and look at the stars. As Mamoru says, "I'm sorry I lost you your present." And Usagi says, "I'm sorry I put you in harm's way." But she says, "I always get a lot of love from you anyway." And we hear from inside the house,
I know.
Minako say, "Ooh, things are getting pretty steamy out there." While Ami is trying to get people to study, Mako is stuffing her face, and Rei is trying to go to sleep. Because honestly, it's probably after midnight at this point.
Yeah.
She says, "Geez, we're not an inn. If you're going to flirt, I'm going to have to ask you to leave." And the adventure continues.
Yes.
But before it does, we cut to the basement lab where a phone is ringing. Dr. Giggles picks it up and says, "I see. Yes. So that's what happened to Kaorinite. Then I'd like you to take her place, Mr. President." No, he says, "You dial." And on the other end of the phone, we see a red-headed woman with glasses, totally different,
Completely different.
working at a computer, who smiles to herself.
Yes.
In this episode, goodbye, Tokyo Tower.
I know.
This baby takes a beating in this thing.
I know. Showdown at Tokyo Tower. Goodbye, Tower.
And it's not, I mean, it's always been, from the very beginning, it's been kind of not only emblematic for Tokyo and Juban, but for the show. It's in the opening credits. And it's, so the fact that it takes like a pounding in this, you think that they would, I guess maybe just the fact that it does is enough. But you think that they would sort of make it a little more explicit that like the
tower has been
this
damaged.
Is rough. Yeah. These bad guys are attacking the fabric of the show and
This
Juban itself.
iconic
something
emblem.
emblematic of the show.
Yeah, this iconic emblem that gets repainted every couple of years.
But it'll be fine next year.
Oh,
or next episode.
Absolutely. Yeah. You will see it again, and you will. That's the magic of anime, right?
I hate to do. Actually, I don't hate it at all. I'm a liar. You liar. But there's a lot of comic book stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
Mostly because we're not having a shrimp eating contest, or we're not getting our hair done by a robot, evil robot vacuum cleaner or something. Because it's all about why you do this and who you do it for.
Yes.
And you do it for the people that you love, but you do it for the people who can't defend themselves. You do it, if the oppressors didn't exist, I guess you wouldn't have to do it, but they do.
Right.
So you have to oppose them.
Right.
And that's what Usagi maybe has just always done because a cat told her to. But I think this is, one of the times, if not the first major time, that she, is presented with this, question, which is like, why do you do what you do?
Yeah.
And I'm a green-haired lady who is looking for some kind of absolution. Either you're going to have an answer to this that's going to make me feel better about killing you, or you're going to say, "Well, I don't care about that." And I'll be like, "All right, I'm going to kill her." Like, she's not as good as I think. But we've watched her this whole time because we're weird and creepy and hang out in trees. And she's the last person on earth that this should happen to. And yet we feel like we have to do it. So there's this triangle that's happening in this convertible.
Right.
Where every one of these people is going through their own thing and is struggling with their own mission. And only one of those missions is the most pure. And it's Usagi's. And she, she sees it through.
Yeah.
And in doing so, not even knowing that she's doing it, convinces the other two that their mission is, maybe not the thing that they should do. I mean, they're not totally on board yet, but it's another big chop at that tree.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I like too that, like, I think that this episode sets up even more this, like, Uranus and Neptune, they got their mission, and they're like, this is what the mission is. And they're not really happy about it. They question it sometimes, but they always come back to, this is what the mission is. We're going to save the world. We're going to get the Holy Grail, all this stuff. But Usagi is like, we'll find another way, you know? And that's what I love about her. And that's why her heart is so pure, you know? Yeah. And then she also talks about like working together and teamwork, which is such a big part of the show.
Yeah, a little complaint that I have is that the show totally cops out of the question by having her heart just be like super pure, but not a talisman. I mean, it might be an aspect of this quest that they're on because they don't seem to, we still don't really know who's giving them their orders, but they don't seem to understand their task. They were just given it.
Right.
And so it's possible that the powers that be don't understand it, or they haven't given them the information. So all they know is pure hearts are most likely to be a talisman.
Right.
And so they find the purest heart they've ever found, and it's not a talisman.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll get into this later, but that's kind of throws their whole quest on its ear. Because it's like, wait a minute, we've been looking. That's why I said, like, just go to a daycare. Bing, bang, boom, you're done.
Yeah, right.
but maybe those two things don't go together the way that we think that they do. Mm-hmm. And so their quest has been just a huge waste of time up to this point, which doesn't deter them, but does tell us in the I don't know. I started off criticizing it. Now I'm kind of complimenting it. It tells us in the audience that maybe we don't have to worry so much about, you know, our heroes. They're going to be okay.
Yeah.
For now. But I do think, but if this show wasn't called Sailor Moon, this is where maybe we lose one of these characters.
Right.
Because if Venus and Neptune don't automatically join like the good team, if this conflict is going to continue, you know, this is the pivot point where somebody dies and they're changed because they did get somebody killed and it still didn't do it. And they're like, oh, well, because they're anti-heroes. You see the thing where you have the hero who's like, I'm going to do it my way. And then the hero changes them. Popular example. So I'm not digging into some, you know, Roy Thomas comic from the 70s.
Sure.
But the Punisher in the Netflix shows, right? Punisher's does whatever he wants. He's consumed by rage and grief. Daredevil is just consumed by rage and grief, but he has a code. And their interactions, often fistfights and trying to kill each other, convinces the Punisher, they're like, okay, this guy's he's got a point. Maybe I can't kill everybody.
Right.
And so I'm going to help him out later on.
Right. And Usagi has a point, like,
I don't think she knows that she has a point, but she does.
I think she's just so...
I think she just answers honestly that question.
Yeah, and I think she's so impassioned right now because the person that she is in love with is in danger and she feels responsible.
Right. Which is a selfish motivation. Her boyfriend is a selfish motivation. But when the handsome stranger puts the question, the weirdly pointed question to her about like, isn't it important to just, you know, get what you want or to do the right thing? And it has nothing to do, as far as she knows, with the thing that she's going towards, her frozen boyfriend. But she says like, that's not the right thing. Right.
She's able to put her distress aside and just be like, I don't agree with what you're talking about at all.
Keeping your eyes on the road, by the way.
Yeah, no kidding.
Another comic thing is, and you see this all the time in comics, when somebody learns your secret identity. What's that ticking sound? Do you hear that?
Yeah.
It's like a clock ticking down to your death.
Yeah.
And we totally get that here.
Yeah, we do.
You know, it's never really mattered all that much that the bad guys know or don't know that Usagi Tsukino is Sailor Moon.
Yeah.
But this is one of the first times that we really go to lengths to hide the fact that it is. But as I was watching this, I'm like, it doesn't matter. You guys could give them your home address and your social security numbers. It doesn't matter because both of these idiots are going to be dead by the end of this episode.
Right.
It happens all the time. Somebody learns, you know, that Superman is Clark Kent or whatever, a bad guy. And then that bad guy's like, you know, he's going to fall off a building and Superman will be busy holding an asteroid and won't be able to help him. But he totally would have helped him.
Yeah. He totally would have saved him if he wasn't holding that asteroid.
Yeah. Or somebody figures out, the Green Goblin figures out that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. And it's like, well, at the end of this, you're going to be wearing your own glider. You're not going to make it through this.
No. Right, exactly. Like, didn't Jedi figure out who, like, Sailor Moon's identity or something like that?
Yeah, and then they took it, then they met him at the airport, and that was it. He got ran over by a jet plane.
And Beryl is like, eternal sleep. Like, he doesn't get to say anything to her. It's like, okay, all right.
I don't want to hear it.
Yeah. Stop your lies.
Like that would really matter. Because I doubt they'd ever use that information. Remains to be seen whether they will use that information in the live action series Pretty Guardian Sailor Moon, which we are watching on our Patreon.
Yes.
And we've got a character who is getting into the identities of the sailors. And he's like, there's something to these girls. We should look into this. Stop trying to throw cactus men at them. What about this?
Right, exactly.
Hold the putties back. I've got an idea. So we're talking about that on the Patreon. One more thing I'll say about comic books is, this is just a me thing, but
okay.
When Venus is doing that's right, I'm Sailor Moon. There's like signs that say like, yes, she's Sailor Moon. Whoa, totally real.
I guarantee it.
Absolutely the Sailor Moon.
Yeah.
And that's all funny and stuff. And then when the real Sailor Moon comes out, you get a similar thing that says like, the genuine article. And then the last text box that we get says like, we wouldn't have it any other way. And who's the we in this case? And it's a rhetorical question. It's a rhetorical question. It is an editorial we. It is the show speaking to you.
Yeah.
Beyond just telling you a story or having a narrator say something as a character,
right,
or a disembodied narrator like Dragon Ball Z. Goku will do this. It is an editorial voice, like the editorial voice in, say, Marvel Comics, when the editor, who is Stan Lee in early books, says,
all right, true believers, you'll never believe how Dr. Octopus puts the screws to our web-slinging hero in this issue. Excelsior!
Right. Or like the editor notes where they're like mention something and they'll say like, this happened in issue such and such.
I know senshi was heard in episode 68, the Battle of the 10 Warriors. Excelsior!
Right, exactly.
Yeah. So I just got a real kick out of that.
No, it's great. It's fantastic. I also loved Venus went maybe a little too far with like her insults of Usagi, like, Ray was like, oh, she's too klutzy and a crybaby, and then Venus is like, yeah, you gotta be cool and beautiful and stuff like that. And then so Usagi,
there was no better time to launch into the Venus Sailor Moon rap.
Yeah, right.
Well, I'm Sailor Moon, and I'm here to say,
yeah, exactly.
I'm not Venus. Ain't no way.
Right. But so once she transforms, she is held on to that during this entire thing. And she's like, I am the cool, beautiful soldier, Sailor Moon, the genuine. She's literally, she's saying she is all those things that, Venus was saying before that she wasn't. So I appreciated that.
I got a white cat and I ain't no sucker. If a demon tests me, I'm gonna shoot that motherfucker.
Oh my God!
Can you just say, okay, so obviously, you and I are the world's last remaining disguise pen fans. So it's like,
is that true?
Good to see it come back, but also just like, oh, I wonder how these things come up. Because you look at you're writing, congratulations, you're writing a children's cartoon show. Mm-hmm. And so the character can do this, 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 and this. Mm-hmm. And so sometimes you're like, Spider-Man's gonna web his feet, or he's gonna get away. Spider-Man got knocked out, so he's gonna throw a spider tracer onto the Kingpin's pant leg, and then he's gonna track him down later. He's got a suite of abilities.
Sure.
If you're watching the old Justice League show, they just literally do whatever they want to.
Sure.
So Batman, pulls a bat Chinese takeout food menu out of his thing, and we can feed the aliens that want to eat humans or whatever.
Sure.
Or Superman has, like in the Superman 4, Superman has Great Wall of China rebuilding vision. Because they ran out of money in the production.
Yeah.
So in this specific case, yes, they have this ability that they have kind of left behind in the show.
Yeah.
But somebody who's writing this thing is like, hey, wouldn't it be funny if,
Yes.
because we love doing these bits where we're kind of rubbing it in the face of the audience that we know that Minako and Usagi are like the same character.
Very
So what if
similar in
she
a lot of
dresses
ways.
up like her?
Yeah.
And then for that, we have to mention but not show the disguise pen.
I know.
And can you just set the pen to Sailor Moon? Like, does she say, disguise pen, make me a Sailor Moon-like superhero?
I have no idea. And like, it's
Because presumably she never disguises herself. She's always disguising herself around people who wouldn't know who she is anyway. So
Yeah,
it's
you're
not like,
absolutely right.
So it's not like we don't know if her face changes or not.
I don't think it does.
I think it's that same thing where people they see Sailor Moon's face, they see Usagi Tsukino's face, they don't make a connection. It's a Wonder Woman thing.
Yeah.
Although in one episode of the 70s Wonder Woman series, somebody got a slide projector and they had 2 slides and they're like, guys, look at this. Oh my God.
They're the same person.
This gorgeous woman, this 6-foot tall woman is the same person.
I had no idea.
Yeah. But so I just assume that it like, you could just tell it to make me look like Sailor Moon, I guess. But get the bow color wrong. And...
Right. Like it doesn't get it like quite right. And I think that like she has her boots look like Sailor Moon boots, but there's some orange in her boots too if they're not completely orange. Just enough to like, and like her hair isn't as long as Usagi's, so it's shorter pigtails.
Right.
There's no buns.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think I don't know, it's just a little bit off, but I think it's funnier because it is.
Yeah, no, it's funny. I'm thinking about the
logistics of it. I don't think that they thought about it that much, to be perfectly honest.
No, don't tell me that.
So Nako came up with a disguise pen in the manga, but of course they used it differently in the anime a little. Like she used it for different situations, but in Codename Sailor V, she had a compact, her Crescent Moon compact that worked the same way as the disguise pen, but for some reason we are leaving Codename Sailor V behind, so it is not Minako's item, it is Usagi's item that she borrowed from Luna. Because she has little cat pockets somehow. I don't know how Luna has this on her, but yeah.
But none of them canonically have gotten a disguise pen in the show.
I know.
Which means that Luna is just carrying
Usagi's
disguise pen around.
I guess.
And it can operate on other people.
That's what we were told in this episode.
If you are in this episode, and will never be told again, and if you are like this hypothetical cartoon writer that I've created.
Yeah.
This is when you get to episode 372 for the second year of your show. Mm-hmm. They make a lot of cartoons. It's a joke. You are looking for things to make a show about. And so you go, Slimer decides that he's going to be a Ghostbuster and he puts a proton pack on.
Right.
But he has to bust humans instead of ghosts.
Right.
So you go like, the disguise pen falls out of a hole in Usagi's bag. And then like a little kid finds it.
Right.
And now the kid is running around being Sailor Man. And he's this is great. Who's writing this down? And he's trying to fight crime, but he keeps screwing it up, and they have to get the pen away from him and save him.
I mean, yeah, that sounds fantastic. I love this idea.
I love Sailor Man.
I love Sailor Man as well.
I wonder if Popeye has anything to say about that. And then
does Sailor Man eat spinach? Because we might have a copyright problem. No, I'm just kidding.
Loves kale.
Oh,
which is legally distinct.
There you go.
From spinach.
It is different.
This is also the second time that somebody has dressed up like Sailor Moon.
Yes.
Episode 38, I'm gonna say. I can't remember which one it is. I'm gonna say 38. When Zoisite becomes...
It's when Zoisite is...
Evil Sailor Moon.
Yeah, Nisei Sailor Moon, yeah.
Sorry, the second Sailor Moon.
Yeah.
Are we going for a hat trick? Right now. Come on. Right now.
Uh-huh.
Who's your pick for the next person to dress up as Sailor Moon?
That's really hard.
I'm going to say...
Uh-huh.
I'm going to say...
Mm-hmm.
and you're gonna kick yourself that you let me go first. Umino. Umino will be forced, either through magical or non-magical means, to impersonate Sailor Moon, as happens all the time in comic books. All the time you get a situation where Lois, now she's got him. She knows that Clark Kent is Superman, and I've got the evidence, and I'm going to present it to the mayor today at 12 o'clock, right? And then Clark Kent shows up at the mayor's office. The mayor's like, what's this all about? I'm very busy. And then she's like, well, Mr. Mayor, check this out. But then in through the window flies Superman.
Right.
And they're like, oh, Lois, why did you want to meet me? Is everything okay? She's like, oh, boy. Oh, brother. I guess I was wrong. And then we find out that Superman has a bunch of robots that he built who also have all of his powers.
That sounds...
But he only uses to trick his girlfriend, Lois Lane.
Oh, my gosh.
You could solve world hunger with those things, you dumb bastard.
Well, it reminds me of, like, Tony Stark in the Marvel movies with all of his Iron Man robots.
Tony Stark used to pretend that Iron Man was his bodyguard, but he was never around when Iron Man was bodyguarding him. And then probably the best thing that the movies ever gave us was the movies just took one look at that and were like, I am Iron Man.
I know.
They're like, screw that.
Turn that on its head.
Why do we need that?
Yeah.
That's pretty dumb.
For my pick for the third person to dress up as Sailor Moon, I'm going to say Mamoru, because why the heck not have the masked man who throws roses become the woman that he loves. So.
This, walk a mile in her crystal shoes.
Yeah.
This sounds like a couple cosplay.
I've totally seen a gender flip of them before, so yeah. I think that would be a lot of fun. I'd dress up as a female Tuxedo Mask,
So basically it's just so first of all, do you do full Zoisite and skirt and everything, or do you do like question. It's Sailor Hot Pants, sort of like a masculinized Sailor Moon costume?
I think you could go, honestly, either way.
Because you're not going to wear,
great.
Are you going to wear like a black and white skirt and that sort of thing? Or are you going full Marlene Dietrich on that thing?
Honestly,
I don't know why I keep going. It's
because
like no woman has worn a tuxedo in 100 years. I don't know why my only point of contact
is Marlene
Dietrich, but it's a famous one.
Victoria.
We're going to go fully Julie Andrews on that one.
No,
I'm going fully Julie Andrews. We got to move on.
Oh, okay.
Backtracking is back for an all-new season. Hi, I'm Caliban.
And I'm Gooey Fame.
And we'd like to introduce you to Backtracking, the podcast that explores the real-world inspirations behind your favorite episodes of Star Trek.
From historical events to classical literature to blockbuster films, we go where no pod has gone before to seek out the origins of classic Trek tales.
Did you know, Gooey, that the TNG episode Too Short a Season was an allegory for the Iran-Contra affair?
Yeah, only sweatier. Did you know that the Enterprise episode Regeneration was an homage to the John Carpenter film The Thing?
Archer and T'Pol freezing to death over a bottle of whiskey would have been a controversial ending.
As a dog lover, Archer would not like The Thing, I'm guessing.
Oh my god, movie night is canceled. Join us every other Thursday for a journey back to the beginnings of the Trek universe.
Backtracking is available wherever you get your podcasts.
No, Porthos!
Today on Kyoru Kyoru Miru, or Curiously Looking Around, where you talk about elements of Japanese culture within the episode, we're going to be talking about Cinderella in Japan.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so...
At, like, Disney? Tokyo Disney?
Not specifically, but, I mean, I guess just to mention, I'm, like, at Tokyo Disney, Cinderella's castle is still... It's the iconic, course, castle. It's Disney's castle.
Cenicienta's castle.
Yeah, right, exactly. So not only seen as romantic, Cinderella is incredibly popular in Japan, and we're going to kind of look at a little bit into why. But there's just so much, it's impossible to cover everything.
Sure.
But there's even a Japanese folktale that is sometimes called the Japanese Cinderella.
So they have they recognize Western Cinderella, but they also have a similar myth.
Well, we'll talk about it. It's really...
I'll just let you talk about it,
It's
I
not
guess.
that similar, but it's sometimes called the Japanese Cinderella.
Sure.
But Chujo Hime was, by most accounts, a daughter of the court noble Fujiwara no Toyonari, who was a real person.
Huh.
Chujo Hime escaped persecution at the hands of her stepmother by becoming a nun at the Tamidera in Nara.
Oh.
There she took on the name Zenshin Ni, or the Dharma name Honyo. She has become a folk heroine and the subject of numerous Japanese folktales, which basically talk about her dutiful piety. And I should mention that I don't necessarily know that there's any proof that she was a real person, but there's elements of her being related to this person.
Yeah, was the ruler, was that a real guy?
Yeah,
Okay.
Fujiwara no Toyonari was a real person.
Okay.
Yeah, but there's different. So the reason why I say I don't think that she necessarily was, well, one reason was because there's different stories that disagree on when she was born. Most say that she was born in the 8th century during Emperor Shomu's reign, and suggest that her father was Fujiwara no Toyonari, but a few state that she was the daughter of Fujiwara no Toyoshige a century earlier. So that's a pretty big difference. But both of those lords were real people. But her story gets more fantastical the more you look into it. But as most versions go, her parents were a childless couple who appealed to Kannon, who is a Buddhist bodhisattva associated with compassion. And they were granted a daughter in exchange for the life of one parent. So when it's really dark.
Who wants a girl?
Yeah.
Who wants a dirt nap?
Yeah. When Chujo Hime is...
No, I want a daughter.
Yeah, I know. When Chujo
No,
Hime...
I don't know. We'll throw a football around.
Which is like...
Yeah, but do you want a daughter?
It's like... So that's the trade-off? You guys are gonna... You think about it. I was thinking about this. You'll be happy for like a short period of time, but then one of you is going to die and your kid is going to grow up without that other parent.
Yes.
That is incredible. Why would you choose that? Anyways.
That's why it's a tough choice.
I know.
Unless you didn't want a daughter at all.
Yeah.
And you were suicidally depressed.
Oh my God. No,
and you're
that's
like,
not what's going on.
I got a win-win for you here.
No.
Just, whoop.
No, that's not what happened.
Did the person get made into the daughter?
No.
Oh, because that'd be like a good sci-fi thing. It's like,
you could do that.
You can have a daughter, but we will turn one of you into the daughter.
It's kind of weird though, the more you think about it too. But it is sci-fi.
Being killed so you can have a daughter is also very weird.
But when Chujo Hime is 3, her mother dies, and her father later remarries. In some versions, Chujo Hime's stepmother orders her to be taken into the mountains and abandoned to die.
There's a lot of that going on.
Uh-huh. In others, she remains at home and makes copies of the Buddhist sutras for her mother's salvation, because her mother, she wished for this, and then now but your dad wished for the same thing. Anyways, this devotion pisses off her stepmother to no end, who is wretched to her and is at the very least verbally abusive to her. In either case, she is rescued by the Buddhist nuns of Taima-dera and becomes a nun herself. And as a nun, she lives a pretty simple and meditative type life, and she comes to be known as a living Buddha. And she is also credited with inventing the art of embroidery, which, okay, all right. This is a folktale, sure. And Chujo Hime, in some versions, is also credited with either weaving the lotus thread, also known as the Taima mandala, which is a mandala depicting the cosmology of Pure Land Buddhism, or some other versions say she was aided and helped by this miracle by Amida Butsu, or others say that like she is an incarnation of Canon herself, and others say that she was helped by two nuns who were Amida and Canon, and they were in disguise. But this, regardless, this tapestry is a real thing, and the original one is at this temple, and they've made copies of it over the years, and it's very intricate, and it shows a lot of different things in Pure Land Buddhism.
So here's my question.
Yeah.
How is this Cinderella?
Yeah, I know. The only...
I was sold a bill of goods.
So, I mean, basically, it's that their mother dies and their father remarries and their stepmother is horrible to them.
Okay, I guess.
That's basically what I get out of it. And, but you know, it's one of those things that she is been like very popular. Well, I guess folklores throughout Japan, and was featured in a lot of no plays. There's a lot of ukiyo-e prints that feature her as well. There is this one no play that depicts supposedly Chujo Hime's father, who is Minister Toyonari in this play, ordered one of his retainers to kill his daughter after he believed a lie he heard about her. So I'm like, okay. And then the retainer takes her to Mount Hibari with the intention of killing her, but he is unable to do so. So he builds a shelter for her and her nurse instead, and she lives on. But that reminds me of Snow White, like the huntsman's supposed to take her to the woods and kill her, and he can't do it. Mm-hmm. So like in the second act, some time has passed, and Chujo Hime's father realized the rumors about his daughter were false, and he's feeling really bad about his decisions, and then he encounters Chujo Hime, and upon learning that she's alive, they reunite, and he takes her back home. But basically, so it doesn't make any mention of her being a nun, so it's not that particular no play doesn't have the religious aspect.
Or any drama in it. You get out of here. Get out of here. Oh, okay. Come back.
I know. So Hime means princess, but what does Chujo mean? So some legends say that the rank of Chujo was given to her by the emperor. So Chujo in a formal setting means lieutenant general or vice admiral, but the term can also mean leader, commander, general, or admiral. And the term Chu, which was also pronounced as Naka, had an important meaning as well. It could signify connecting gods, specifically Buddha, and humans. So kind of like, because like recognizing her spiritual significance and and connecting humans with Buddha. Fun fact: the Japanese herbal medicine Chujo-to, used to treat various quote female complaints such as menstrual pains, is named after Chujo Hime. So she's got that. Yeah. Woohoo. But
I'm not seeing a lot of upside here.
I know, but
yeah.
Yeah.
Ilwyn Davis, the guy's like, I'm not seeing any money here. This is your Cinderella?
Well, maybe that's why they like the Western version and the ideal a lot.
I wonder how crappy Jupiter was before the Romans like met the Greeks. And they're like, oh, that's our guy. Yeah, that's our guy.
Maybe.
Lightning bolts? Oh, no. Yeah, he's got lightning bolts. He's got lightning bolts. Guys, give him lightning bolts real quick.
Right now.
And make him a rapist.
Whoa. Well, he was.
Like it's almost like they've got, we've got that. And then when you explain it, it's like, I mean, it's not really that.
It's not really the same thing.
I know why there's a Tokyo Disney.
Yeah, because it's a lot more lighter.
Whenever you go to Tokyo Disney, is there like a photo ops for, you putting a nun's habit on? And then,
No.
And then the funny characters are like, take you out into the woods. And then your mom can go, no, bring it back. And then they bring it back.
That's sad. There's no woodland creatures. There's no fairy godmother. No pumpkins. Yeah, so Cinderella is incredibly popular in Japan. The name of the fairy tale character is featured in many manga, films, books, songs, etc. She has been especially prevalent in the beauty industry for not always for the best. But okay, she's kind of seen as like this ideal beauty, but I think that sometimes it can maybe be taken a little bit too far.
Example.
I'm getting there.
Okay.
So basically, in the story of Cinderella is also in the way it's viewed in Japan is a little bit different than I think it's viewed in the West. It's kind of seen as a self-transformation story and like the ability to change your situation and create a better life for yourself.
Yeah, okay.
All
right. She pulled herself up by her own sandal straps.
Right, exactly. Got her fairy godmother, and so she made it happen. So
it's funny because, and maybe this isn't the time and place to completely reevaluate the Cinderella as a myth, but Cinderella is pure of heart, and
yes,
I think she's a good worker. But her stepmother yells at her all the time. So maybe she's not doing a good job with those cinders. But the point is that none of that really matters. The point is that she appeals to little girls because she's really a princess. And she's not getting what she deserves. And she gets what she deserves in the myth. Which not only does she have pretty dresses and she's beautiful, but she can... I'm being very shallow here about kids. But kids are shallow. But she appeals to kids' unspoken desires to be able to stay up as late as they want.
Sure.
And get all the ice cream they want.
Eat all the candy they want.
Right, exactly. Just in the same way that, like, dinosaurs appeal to boys and girls because it's a power fantasy, because a dinosaur can do whatever he wants and he can, eat all the other dinosaurs.
Right.
And so that's not part of this, is it really?
Not Hime, no.
She has a, royal birth, and that's all taken from her, and she starts from nothing. And makes a new life for herself as an ascetic. Mm-hmm. Wow.
But she is pure of heart because she's, writing sutras and praying for her mother's salvation.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Better her than me.
Yeah.
There, but for the grace of God, go her.
Yeah, right, exactly. But I think also, another thing about Cinderella in Japan, it's like everybody has a chance to try on the slipper, right? And see,
yeah.
Are you the princess? Is it you? But anyways, in 1990, this is the first time this was held, the Takano Yuri Beauty Clinic first started holding the Aesthetic Cinderella Grand Prix. In this contest, the woman who loses the most weight within a 3-month period is crowned the winner. This contest was very popular throughout the 1990s. All contestants are precisely measured at their bust, waist, hip, thighs, and calves. Each area is looked at as to how it can be improved upon to become closer to the, quote, Cinderella ideal. And you can look at that however you want, but the way I've kind of interpreted that, her stepsisters try on the shoe. Doesn't fit them. Their feet are too big. Her feet, perfect fit.
And
that Cinderella ideal.
And the original Grimm tale,
Yes.
they cut their toes and their heels off.
Yep,
to
that's
make
in
the shoe
Into
fit.
the Woods, too.
And if... Great. Come on, Sondheim can't do anything now, but
No.
do the Japanese version.
Make her a nun.
But the new ending. But how either dumb or bride hungry must you be that you're you're the prince, or in some cases the prince's servant footman is doing this.
Yeah.
And 2 times you drive away from this house
Yeah.
with a woman that's howling in pain.
Right.
And 2 times you have to rinse the blood
I know.
out of a glass slipper.
Yeah.
That 3rd time you have to be like, I think we've seen everybody that we need to see. So the real story about Cinderella is that she can get through that audition. You know, she can get to the right people.
Yeah.
She could go on. She could, be the person that she can open a lot of doors. She doesn't take no for an answer.
Yeah. Exactly.
And
no,
then in the
that's
Disney
absolutely
version,
right.
she's locked in her room, but she's got mice and birds to help her get out.
Yeah, and they can help sing a song, and she can sew, and they can help her, and
Yeah.
fairy godmother.
So
and...
that one, it's about who you know.
Yeah. You got to have animal
It's
friends.
about feeding vermin.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Looking out for the little people. How about a Cinderella festival? To be more specific, Cinderella Yume Matsuri. So a Cinderella Dream Festival. And this happens in Japan. It's an annual festival in Saroma, and it's a farming town of about 6,000 people in eastern Hokkaido. And its theme is pumpkins. So you get to go and see all these cool carvings, and the biggest pull for it is there is a pumpkin contest, like who can grow the biggest pumpkins, and they're weighed for the prizes like we have at like state fairs and that sort of thing. And one particular year, the heaviest pumpkin that a participant grew was nearly 400 kilograms, according to organizers. And sometimes they have prizes for pumpkins that are painted creatively and as well. But it's it's called the Cinderella Dream Festival because Cinderella, she has a coach that turns into a pumpkin that turns into a coach, not a coach that turns into a pumpkin.
Right.
The other way around.
Right.
So yeah. So I thought that was kind of cool.
So they found a way to make it work.
Yeah, with the Western version of the fairy tale.
There's a Japanese shoe company. I'm positing.
Yeah,
I know I say things with such authority sometimes.
you do.
That you just
I'm
think
like, I'm listening.
it's true, but I'm positing there has to be a Japanese shoe company that said like, "Well, lose a shoe, come down to JSW, Japanese Shoe Warehouse, and get some shoes." And
Yeah.
they got crazy commercials. It's got to be something.
Yeah, I am positive of that. So yeah, that's Cinderella in Japan. A little bit different from our view of Cinderella as far as Chujo Hime goes, but they do overall really like the Western fairy tale as well.
Yeah, if the shoe fits.
Yes, exactly. Itadakimasu with Usagi. What did Usagi eat in this episode? At the very end at Hikawa Shrine, there is somehow cake again. Didn't they eat all of that at the end of last episode?
She put her heart and soul into it. There's a lot of food.
So I thought, is this store-bought cake because they felt bad for eating it? Or did Mako make another one? That's my question.
Is it a deadly insult to bring store-bought cake to somebody's birthday?
No, it's not. But I just think with like Mako there, she would feel guilty about that, because she's a good baker and she worked really hard on the cake.
I guess. Don't they have to wait around for the police to show up? Like they destroyed Tokyo Tower.
They never wait for the police. Are you kidding me?
It's just like they're hanging out, like, at Hikawa Shrine, and then in the distance, the sound of sirens and emergency teams
Right.
going to.
And they're like, oh, that's
clean up
weird.
Tokyo Tower. It's rubble.
Mako and Minako are also eating either donut holes or meatballs. It's unsure. That's unclear what. Meatball alert, which is still amazing. Villain gauge, we rate a baddie 1 to 5 dark stars by being the most wicked. The daimon in this episode is named Cenicienta or Cenicienta in Japanese. And Cenicienta is the Spanish term for Cinderella. From the Latin root cinis, we get ceniza, which is the Spanish term for ashes.
Right.
And the English word Cinderella most likely comes from Charles Perrault's 1697 version of the fairy tale, in which the character is called Cendrillon. Cinder means cinder, and Rillon is a diminutive form, so little cinder. And Cenicienta has a very similar meaning in Spanish.
Yeah.
So her character design, she's glassy green, like the slippers. I don't know what you want. Just like the slipper she's made out of, and she has very broad shoulders and is very muscular, very very top heavy. I don't know if she did leg day or not, but she has glassy red eyes as well, and her outfit, I think we talked about last time, looks kind of like a gladiator, and the top is a breastplate bustier with large shoulder shields, and she has a short gold skirt that is reminiscent of what you would see on a gladiator wearing, with green
Paturges. Those are called paturges.
Oh, okay. Paturges, the shoulder,
The skirt.
the skirt, okay,
Armored skirt.
the armored skirt, and it has like a green glass belt as well. And once again, her high heels are fused to her feet. I don't know, I'm not as bothered by it this time around, largely because she is made out of glass and because she's all about shoes.
Yeah, she grew out of the shoes.
Yeah. She also has a gladiator helmet with a glass slipper on top and hair that is a long glass ponytail. And of course, her star tattoo is on her right bicep.
It's not really it doesn't matter. It's not really a gladiator helmet. This is a mix of a lot of things.
Is
like,
it?
Like a lot of things like this, but it's okay.
All right. That's fine.
And as far as skipping leg day goes, well, you look, this is like...
You're checking my work.
She
did fine.
This is always... No, I mean, this is, these are... Before they are monsters, they're women. That's why we got a lion with boobs. And so she can be tall and imposing and a kind of, Romanesque figure, literally.
Yeah.
But she's got to have them legs.
I see what you're saying.
Because she's feminine, right?
Yeah.
Even if she's got big biceps.
Right.
Like she's got, she's not going to have like huge legs. She's got to, when you pan up, you have to be like, and then you get to, whoa!
She's going to beat you up. Yeah. She often ended whatever she was saying by shienta, which is, the last part of the Japanese pronunciation of her name. Although in the original Japanese version, Cenicienta's voice is high-pitched, in most of the foreign language dubs, she was given a deep voice, which is disappointing because comedy, The only foreign language dubs that gave her a high-pitched voice were the Portuguese and Korean dubs. Cenicienta marks the second glass-themed monster that we have seen in Sailor Moon. The first was Derella from episode 7. Both of their names were based on Cinderella. And she was the really creepy glass monster who made herself look like the idol. And she also would encase people in glass. And she was she was like creepier looking when you finally saw her, so yeah, but that's also like another reason like why I think maybe they went with the if we do Cinderella again, we have to have a very different name. So maybe they were just looking at like what are some other names we could use, and I think Cenicienta sounds cool and it sounds kind of imposing, I feel like.
That's interesting because you don't think it has anything to do with like the history of the Nanban trade, the Portuguese trade to Japan. The Dutch weren't the only people that were allowed
Right, no, I know.
to trade. They got the carte blanche, but they traded with Portuguese people before the ports were locked down. So you don't think at any point in that
it
time,
might.
It's just so specific, you know. I know that like when you look at, first of all, it's a Western myth, first of all.
Yeah.
So you look at English, because Disney,
Right.
A Dream Is Wish Your Heart Makes. But then what's the second, you know, romance language that we would go second largest if we're going to look for the next Cinderella name? I can see that. But I wonder if there is still swirling around in the Japanese awareness of outside cultures, which isn't all English and Anglo-centric.
Right.
There would be Cenicienta, which to a lot of people on the planet that don't speak English
Yeah.
is Cinderella.
Well, right. No, I totally get that. And that's entirely possible. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you
You're welcome.
for validating me.
Sure.
I also wanted to bring up, I know that this is a show about a Japanese show, but there is a older Chinese fairy tale called Yishan that is thought of as the first Cinderella story. And I won't get into it, but it does have to do with a daughter, you know, who is sort of separated from her family, and then she has to go through these hardships, and she's sort of brought back at the end, recognized as the princess or whatever. And there's her shoes and her sea green gown as well are important parts of it.
Okay. So you think maybe the sea green gown is maybe one reason why they chose the sea green?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we talked about
glass
like you can't do
slippers.
ruby slippers, you can't do silver shoes or whatever. So the green is there, but I think the sea green gown is important. Other things that appear in the tale of Yishan is also a marriage test, you know, for the shoe. The shoe's got to fit.
Sure.
And also the step family, which is, you know, very harsh and punishing of Yishan.
Okay. Well, it's very interesting.
Yeah, it's like, you know, Disney didn't invent everything.
No, they
The
didn't.
Brothers Grimm didn't. Well, they literally didn't invent everything. They just went around and wrote everything down that people. All those tales came from somewhere.
Yeah, and there are Cinderella tales from
This is a Cinderella story.
right, but there are Cinderella tales from from all over. And yeah, it's definitely Disney definitely did not create it. So
She also had a friend with a fish with gold eyes. So look out, Little Mermaid.
sure. Well, there
Coming
you
for
go.
your spot too.
And Animal Friends. There you go. That's where Disney pulled that from. No, I don't know. Now we're up to our rating. I like that she is large and muscular, but she has a very squeaky and young sounding voice. And I like her overall design, though I feel like I could have done without having the glass slipper at the top of her helmet. Although I get it. I get why it's there. I love that she seems to be kind of afraid of Kaori and will do whatever she asks, but also that she has a warranty. I just love that. And I saw that in like episode 1 and I couldn't figure out what the heck that was. So I was glad that was explained. And she's super versatile. As far as monsters go, she can leap buildings, she can squeeze through tight spaces, fuse people into glass, throw glass crystals at you, and her arm can turn into a glass sword. So there you go. What do you want? So I am going to give her 4 out of 5 dark stars.
I'd take a sword that doesn't break.
Well,
Glass, maybe not the best material to construct a sword out of, but
definitely not.
I guess that's what she's got. How is she made out of one of the shoes? Because there are 2 shoes.
Yeah.
2 shoes.
Yeah.
Pardon me, Kaori. Is that the senshi killed your new shoes? No. And so he gives them to Usagi. She puts one on.
Yep.
The Yoma appears.
It comes from
He is
that
thrown
one
through a
slipper.
chain link fence.
Yeah.
And then I guess Kaori must have appeared. Nightcrawler teleported in and pocketed one of the shoes.
We don't see it. It doesn't. They're not tracking this.
I like the
Completely.
idea that it's like, well, if you're going to defeat a vacuum cleaner, it's just a vacuum cleaner. It's all together. It's got a cord, it's got a hose or whatever.
Right.
But if you're going to defeat a pair of shoes, either you have 2 Yoma or you have a wild card in your back pocket,
Right.
which is the other half of the equation.
Right.
I liked that up until they went the step too far, was having the shoe be on top of her helmet, which seems like a cute thing, but
Yeah.
goes, wait a minute. So what part, that would be the spare shoe, right? That would be the part of the, her body is one shoe and she carries the other shoe around.
Right.
But, then she just dies and explodes.
Uh-huh.
And we don't see it's not like her helmet doesn't have a shoe on it in a couple scenes.
No, her helmet always has the shoe on it, but
It's almost like this is a cartoon show for kids.
I know. What I want to know is, what does this warranty include? Like, if you brought in fragments of the shoe with the warranty, would they give
Gotta be
new slippers?
Yeah, it's a replacement, right? It's just a warranty for replacing it.
Because Mamoru is like, I'm sorry, I lost your present. So what was the warranty for? I just don't know. I'm trying to help you out, show.
That clerk is dead and that shop is closed now.
Okay.
So I don't think the warranty's any good when the owner of the shop has been murdered
Okay.
by a redheaded woman that has mysteriously disappeared.
It's weird.
Although they did find little bits of white skin and red hair at the bottom of Tokyo Tower.
Oh, no.
Somebody died.
Yeah.
Is it my turn?
Yes.
I'll give her a 4. For
Okay.
all the same reasons. I think that, the squeaky voices, I don't know. It's just like, I mean, that's what you do, but it still works.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that she's got guns. Yes. And she's like, she's another kind of confused. I like the confused but helpful Yomas. I don't know what I ended up giving the goo shooter shell lady from the Learn to Be a Princess episode, but I liked when she was like, so do I kill him? No, what's going on? Should I punch out? Or
I'm unsure what my role is here.
She can flex. She's like she's muscle.
Yeah.
She's literally a muscle. She can flex. She can, have people break her sword off her arm. But then she's like, wait, now there's two. Which one is this? Oh, I'm not ready for this. I didn't prepare.
I know.
So I find myself drawn to her because of that, and I give her a 4.
Yes. Now, farewell, my lovely, where we rate the way that our monsters go out. She yells, "You liar!" to Sailor Moon as if that would protect her. And wouldn't it have been great, though, if she had cracked or broken more as she'd gotten hit by the heart? But, oh well, what are you going to do? I'm going to give her 3 out of 5.
Yeah, I don't hate this one. I think it's strong, and I like that her last thought is just still that stinging betrayal of
Yeah.
well, you're not playing straight pool with me here. What
Yeah,
is this?
right.
Come on.
You're my enemy, but you're supposed to tell me the truth.
Look, I'm just trying to kill you. You're trying to deceive me.
I know.
But still, yeah, like her cracking or something. I know that they, both they and we are locked into this bit. But yeah, they kind of balance each other out, and I just go 3.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's satisfying. It's fine.
It's all right.
3 isn't bad. 3 is right down the middle.
Exactly. You're doing a pretty good job.
So I noticed in this episode, we usually talk about villains when they're defeated.
Yes.
Gosh, it sure seems like we're not going to see Kaorinite again. Should we be rating her?
I don't know. Should we?
I feel like you are spoiling for me. I think in the future, don't ever throw a surprise party for your kids. Okay.
Hey.
I feel like the thing to do would be, it's okay to lie to your kids if it leads to a surprise party. If Sailor Moon has taught me anything, it is this exact thing.
All
right? So
okay.
The next time we get in a situation like this, let me go ahead and rate it. And then you give a rating too.
Okay.
And then when she shows up later, I'll be really surprised. Instead, now every episode, I'm going to wait for Kaorinite to come back.
Don't do that.
Because clearly she's coming back. You know why I know that? Because I'm not rating her right now. I have a rating written down and everything.
Okay, fine. Let's rate her.
No, that's fine. There's no point now.
I do have some trivia for this episode. This is, unfortunately for you and me, is the last episode that talks about the disguise pen. So that's really sad.
Goodbye, disguise pen.
Exactly.
I never knew you at all.
in the Sailor Moon musical Un Nouveau Voyage, there is a similar scene inspired by this episode where Sailor Venus disguises herself as Sailor Moon. Because why wouldn't you do that? That's fantastic.
Because it requires a costume change.
Okay.
And to probably make a new costume if it has to be kind of a combination of their costumes.
That's true, but I have a feeling that there are a fair amount of costume changes in those shows.
There's probably a ton of them,
yeah. This is the only episode that uses Venus's attack, Hisatsu love me moonchain. Hisatsu actually means sure kill. But in this, in the subtitled version that we were watching, it just says special attack. So Viz apparently decided to
360 no scope, love me chain.
Right, exactly.
Boom, headshot.
Yeah. In the English dub, the attack wasn't named, but occurred while Venus said, "And remember, I'm Sailor Moon," which is okay. That's good. Cenicienta's product warranty card said that she was made by Sasaki, which is most likely a reference to Norio Sasaki, who wrote this episode.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, all right.
Ask him about the Portuguese thing.
Yeah, okay. And now we're at our rating.
Yes.
I love the song I Know Senshi. It always gets me pumped. I'm always excited to hear it. Love Venus's disguise as Sailor Moon and all the shenanigans that go along with it. I don't like how Haruka and Michiru are talking about sacrificing people and getting trampled on. Basically, I feel like goading Usagi and just I'm like, where are you coming from? What are you doing? But I love how Usagi turns that around into being something positive and her take on it and teamwork. And I also love that Haruka finally hears these words, even if it's at the very, very last minute. And it actually almost makes me cry. And I was so happy to hear world shaking, because it gives me hope that okay, maybe these guys aren't so anti-hero. And I love the bit at the end where everyone is bickering and talking over each other. And I think it's an important episode. But I am going to give this 4 out of 5 roses.
That's not, you're always ready yourself. Ready yourself. It's going to be tough to hear. I give it my lowest rating, 7 thumbs up. It's always like that.
Well, because I'm
here's my, get ready for this. I'm going to give it 3.
Oh.
And all because of the evolution of the thematic arcs that we've been talking about. That conversation in the car is the 3. That's it. Now you've got there's some fun fighting. There's other stuff. We're not saying goodbye to Kaorinite, I guess. So I'll just really quickly say that I never put together before that she's Medusa from the Inhumans.
She kind of is, isn't she?
Yeah.
She's got red hair.
That she
and
that's
does
prehensile and does things. Yeah.
I never thought about that
and
before
also,
either.
If Cenicienta is Cinderella, is she the evil stepmother or the fairy godmother? The evil godmother.
Yeah.
Evil step godmother. We nailed it. Okay.
That one.
But other than that, clearly that we have reached the end of an arc, right? Or a part of a chapter, if you will.
Yes.
And we're going to move on after this. And it has that appropriate feeling, but there was a lot of stuff in this that I felt didn't make it match up to, say, the Battle of the 10 Soldiers, or even the UFO abduction end of the Rubius arc or chapter.
Right.
Plus, a lot of the animation wasn't very good.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know how they produce and budget these, but if you're getting to the end of a thing, I can see you being short on hours or time, ink. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I just felt a lot, if you're going to have 9 combatants, in a big thing, you better bring it and have everybody drawing everything. And a lot of the cells weren't shaded, or produced as well as other parts. And there's a lot of kind of just move through this part. There was I enjoyed the repetition, but I don't think the show knew it was doing the repetition, because we got 3 different moments where there's a last minute save and then somebody gives a speech. And I know that's this show's thing, but if you're going to do it 3 times, acknowledge that it's weird. Now, you could argue that they are acknowledging it, because the third one is a very meta speech about how they're literally going to save Tokyo Tower, which broadcasts all these
Right.
cartoons that you love that come
Right.
from Asahi TV called Sailor Moon. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like they're bordering on that, but I don't think it's in a self-aware way. So instead
No.
it's just, you know, Sasaki maybe should have like gone back and fixed, put a little
Pumped
variety
it up
in
a
his
little
script.
bit. Yeah.
So I'll give it 3 because you know, we're following this thread as we always have been, and it is definitely evolving and getting better, and we're getting even more context as we move into whatever comes next.
Yes.
But like, it's also sort of like, well, that one plate's going. I've been kept this plate going. I'm stepping on a bunch of broken plates, but I've got that one plate going. Maybe
Right.
we could have kept all the plates going and really like landed this. But still, despite all that negative stuff I said, a 3. That's how you do it. That's how you do it.
All right. Anyways, my English title is Usagi Sacrifice, Mamo for a Heart.
Spouse for a daughter. Mamo for a heart. My not Cloverway title is High Heels.
Because it's like high stakes and stuff like that, and she's a shoe, and
The shoes. They're in a tower. They're up in the sky. Heels
Okay.
are bad people or
Oh, I didn't even think about
slang
it like
for
that.
villain.
Yeah.
They're
okay.
heels in the sky.
Okay.
They're high heels.
All right.
I am now at the point in my career where I'm showing Cloverway how to do a bad English title. If you gaze
This is how you do it,
if you gaze
Cloverway.
too long into the abyss, it gazes also into you. I have become Deke, the destroyer of titles.
Next episode, we are talking about episode number 103. Yatte kita chicha na bisojo senshi in Japanese. The arrival of a tiny pretty guardian, the English translation, and the English title, Hello Sailor Mini Moon.
Hello, little girl. It's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen.
I'm weirdly excited about it.
You should be.
I'm really excited.
You should be.
Probably gonna have the opposite thing happen that happened last time, which was, oh my God, please no. And then like, oh no, new favorite character. And it's like, oh, she's back. It's 15 episodes later. Somebody please kill me. So we'll see. We'll see. But I'm pretty excited. I'd be really excited if our listeners went to their listening platform that they listen to us on. And if they are offered the opportunity to give us a rating or a review, they did that.
Yes, that would be awesome.
We don't beg for them very often, but every once in a while, we like to remind people that if you're enjoying the show, you know, the least that you can do is to show us a little love and give us a review. It doesn't have to be a big deal.
No.
You know, we've had some amazing reviews,
Yes.
but I would trade them all for 1 5-star. That's pretty good. So take that in a heartbeat. So if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or anywhere that you can just say a little something, or even just give, you know, click the 5 stars or click the 5 numbers or whatever the number scale is, you know,
Right.
give us a high one. We'd really appreciate that.
Yeah, it means a lot. It helps everybody know how well we're doing. And
1 upvote means 1 cough drop.
Yes.
I'm doing the prayer hands. You just can't.
All
see it.
right. Okay. Well, that's our show for this week. And the Name of the Moon will be punishing you next week with another episode of Sailor Noob.
Excelsior!